Howdy guys, in today's video we're going to be looking at some preferences for FlexiPRINT and we'll be starting with the general tab. But before that, let's have a quick intro first. So today's video can be found on softwaretraining.co.za. We make short and easy to watch problem solving videos and we also have daily updates. Now if we're into the program here, so like I mentioned, we're going to be looking at the preferences. Now this can be used to set up how your program reacts in different scenarios. Now some of these things you'll probably want to leave at default, but some of the others will be, or should I say, could be quite handy if you customize them, especially if you have a specific type of workflow you're going for, then these can be quite convenient. So what I'm going to do is just quickly show you first where to locate it. So to get the preferences, this will be under your main menu on top, and then we want to go to edit and we're going to go down to preferences. Click this and then open up. You'll see there's quite a few different options and a few different tabs on top. Now a lot of these things can be self-explanatory if you just read them, but yeah, we're going to deep dive into some of these just so you get a better understanding of what they do. Now on the first tab, so the general tab, you'll see our first option here is called max undo /redo. So this will be the max amount of times obviously you can undo and redo. Now this is also kind of memory dependent and so forth. So depending on how much memory you've got and the specs of your PC, this you can obviously then set higher. But if you set this too high, you might also encounter some more sluggishness, because every time you make a change it saves it into your memory, and then so you can undo it to that step. I would recommend leaving it at default, but if you can, it's always a bit safer having it at a higher number, so that way if you have to backtrack it is easier. But I mean 50 is quite sufficient, I would say. Next up, you've got the selection tolerance. So what this will do is it will pretty much have a pixel, how can I say, pixel size that you can select around your object. So I'm going to quickly make a quick example. Let's just make a rectangle here. And if I have a selection tool, zoom here so you can see on the side. Now if I click and move closer to this object, you'll see at a certain point there, I'm not touching it yet, but now it is selected. So if I had to take this up, let's make this, I think the max was 29. To show you guys, so then once again zoom in here so you can see now I don't have to be as close to the shape before it becomes selected. As you can see now it's over here already, it's being selected. Now the reason why you might want to set this is because sometimes you might be working with text and maybe your font is something which is like let's get something that's quite skinny. Then if it's not set high enough, it can be quite a mission selecting it sometimes, where now it will be easy because it's on 29. But this is one of those cases where you might want to adjust it. If you find you just can't click certain objects or select them, then that's always a good place to go and adjust them. I'm just going to leave mine at 3 so that we have all of that. Okay, and then next up, it's not quite what I wanted to do. Let's just throw that back in the bottom. Next up, we're going to be looking at is our actual constraints. So let's make another shape. Now this is going to work is if you rotate things in the program, then you have a constraint option. So if I go here to the rotation, I keep shifting, click and drag, you'll see it rotates it and then constrains it here, so it pops it to different areas. Now this currently is doing it in 45-degree angles. Now if you want it in between angles, obviously then you can go set it here. So we go to edit, preferences, and then over here we can see currently it is set to 45 degrees. So it is the constraint angle. So now let's maybe change this to 15. And now if we had to go grab here, and let me zoom out first, keep shifting, and you can see it constrains it on 15 degrees. So now it's easy to calculate if you need an exact amount of degrees for a certain angle or so forth. Then you can always use custom constraints or like adjust constraint. I personally like it at some at 15 actually, but most of the time just 45. Leave it at default. And then the last one for now we're going to be looking at is the actual moving distance with arrow key. And you'll see we've got two options here. The top one is pixels and the bottom one is distance. So if you're working with strict design requirements, then maybe distance will be a better one. So you can set to an exact amount, but let's just leave it at pixels now and I can quickly show you the difference. Now what this is going to do is if I have something selected and I use my arrow keys on my keyboard to move it, you will see it currently it moves also slightly, and that is moving by 1 pixel. So now if we had to adjust that, let's maybe make it a bit more extreme. I'm going to go about 50. So okay, zoom in. Now if I use my arrow keys, you can see it pops quite a bit. So this is a nice way to adjust that, the kind of, how can I say, your movement with your keyboard. So if you want it to be bigger steps, I personally like the smaller because I will move it and then come with my keyboard and try fine adjust it, where if it's too big you can see there yeah, it becomes quite unmanageable. Let's just go back here, set it to 1, because if you have to, so now let's say I move this, you can see it's very little, but if I keep shifting then it jumps in bigger amounts. So that way you can always use that combination, so you can fine adjust it with your normal arrow keys and then keep shifting if you want to quickly move it somewhere. But yeah, otherwise that is it on the first part of our preferences, some handy ones. So we've got our undos, we've got some constraints and so forth. But yeah, before we move on to the next section, if we head here to softwaretraining.co.za, you guys will notice we've got a variety of different softwares we do cover, and you can also isolate your search on the top right. If you do not, however, find the training videos you're looking for, just simply go here, request a training video, fill in the mini form, and then we'll do our best to try and make that for you. But otherwise, thanks guys for watching, and cheers.